Hey guys, how are we doing? So it's been a while since I've done a reaction to a Super Eyepatch Wolf video, which is a shame because I really enjoy his stuff, and he's recently uploaded a video called The Current State of Shonen Jump 2018, which I think is going to be pretty interesting because I know I like to react to a lot of anime related stuff, but I really feel like I'm not really in the know. It's only been this last year where I've actually been paying attention properly to it because of the growth of the channel, and I feel like I need to kind of have a little bit of knowledge. Oh, and also thank you everyone for watching my reaction to his the appeal of One Piece. Like, that jumped to like 20,000 views, so thank you very much. I recommend watching the original without me, but anyway, let's get into this. So this is the current state of Shonen Jump 2018. So obviously not big into manga. Well, I like manga, not big into it, but I feel like My Hero Academia is definitely going to be up there, and Dragon Ball Super, because that's still being released at the moment, should be up there with maybe Boruto. I'm looking at mine now with like what random ones I've got. Oh, and Black Clover. Black Clover is going to be up there, I reckon, because the manga's good. The Black Clover manga is really good. I still don't watch the anime, but anyway, let's get into this. The current state of Shonen Jump 2018, which is this year.
Last year, I put out my current state of Shonen Jump video, and
Oh, okay.
honestly, it's not a video I'm very proud of.
Oh.
A combination of rushed research and bad data led to a video rife with inaccuracies. Inaccuracies that were justifiably pointed out in both the comment section and in a popular Reddit post on r/manga.
Oh no!
Detailing each of the video's failings, from my inaccurate calculations of the ranking data to my misconceptions about One Piece's decreasing sales. I'm going to link to that post below, as I feel it's important to own up to where I've gone wrong and let people read it for themselves. So yeah, I apologize. I know people expect a certain standard from this channel, and in that video I
the highest of standard.
Which brings us to today. Despite my previous efforts, I think there's a lot of value in a video that looks at Jump's current state.
Hell yes.
So I actually got in touch with the writer of said Reddit post and have been working with them to better understand the failings of my previous efforts and learn how to best improve upon them.
That's cool.
The results of which you're watching right now.
Awesome! Black Clover! My Hero Academia! One Piece is definitely still be
Shonen Jump of 2018 is a very different place from when we last saw it in early 2017.
Cool.
If 2017 was a period of transition, 2018 is the year we see that transition start to galvanize.
Right,
with several major new titles rising to the top of Jump's pages.
Wow,
and in doing so, potentially ushering in a new era for the legendary publication.
Groovy.
But before we get to that, I want to first establish a baseline and run down the victors and casualties in Jump's weekly popularity war. And so, let's start by pouring one out for the fallen as we count down the series from Jump that did not make it.
Oh no.
Out of the 6 brand new titles we talked about last year, only 2 remain, with Demon Prince Diaries, U19 and Hungry Mary all struggling and failing to find any kind of direction or following,
shame.
quickly tumbling to the magazine's back pages before disappearing from it for good.
Oh.
Robot X Laserbeam fared better, with high volume sales initially, but quickly fell in popularity after a time skip, sliding down the table of contents and dropping in sales, before concluding after a respectable 60 chapters. There's also been a lot of new titles that ascended to Jump's pages only to plummet immediately out of existence. Shudan, Cross Account, Full Drive, Golem Hearts, and Bose Beats were all immediate casualties.
Never heard of any of those,
in Jump's
that makes sense.
weekly popularity war. As was Zyga, a story of modern-day Tokyo under attack from a large kaiju-like being that I actually thought was really cool, but which unfortunately stumbled right out of the gate, slammed into the dirt, and suffered a swift and brutal cancellation.
No. Well, I've not heard of
We
any
also
of those,
saw the end of 2 more established series, the first of which is Isobe Isobe, an offbeat samurai comedy manga that ended after half a decade in publication,
wow, that's long,
and perhaps even more significantly, the end of the disastrous life of Sekiji, another comedy series with exceptionally strong sales, ending a 6-year-long run in Jump.
Is that the same thing?
However, in the infinite cycle of life and
What's
death
doing
that is
well?
Shonen Jump, new series will always rise up to replace the old. So now, I'd like to count down the brand new titles currently occupying Jump's pages.
Cool.
One of which is Noah's Notes, a story about a borderline psychotic professor who has discovered the worrying fact that time is cyclical and humanity is facing its end in 4 years. And so he and his unwilling assistant must search out artifacts left by the future or past, I'm not really sure how that works, in order to discover what happened and how to prevent it. It's a clever premise and has some cute character designs, but right now at least it's hard to see what about this series would let it compete with the Jump's
Well, if it's just starting, then give it some
with both a weak rank and poor sales, the shadow of cancellation looms large over this one. Kimi wo Shinryaku is another series I don't see staying around for too long. A gag manga about an alien schoolboy that honestly feels like a million other shonen gag manga to me.
Same thing over.
Which is definitely not a criticism I would level at the other new gag manga of Jump, General Temporal Enterprise Representative's President Private Secretary Tanaka Seiji, a comedy/battle manga about an elite secretary sent back in time to watch over the future president of the world's largest company.
Oh, that's cool.
This one's genuinely funny and actually had me laughing out loud at parts, but again, with only 3 chapters out, it's still very early days for the series.
Cool.
A relative newcomer making waves is Jujutsu Kaisen, a series from a previously unknown author, and I could best describe its early chapters as Bleach-like, albeit without Kubo's exceptional artwork. But it does start to come into its own as the series progresses, with some good, disturbing monster designs, some decent action scenes, and an interesting central story mechanic where the protagonist and villain inhabit the same body, which has resulted in strong sales in its first volume. It's still early days, but this could be
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Finally, there's 3 series I want to briefly mention that will stand out a little. The first being Alice to Tayo, a beautifully illustrated story about a boy and a girl forming a musical duo, as well as the difficult to pronounce Tamatowi Poo no Liko Pen, starring this Sanrio-like dog thing, and I like it, but it's fucking weird. And finally, Act Age, a shoujo-esque story about a girl with an intense talent for method acting, but whose forays into memory and her own subconscious threaten to tear her apart. Each of these 3 series is reasonably successful in what they're trying to do, but I single them out not for their quality, but for how unusual it is that they're even in Jump at all. None really feel like they're aimed at Jump's core audience of adolescent boys, and while that's not a bad thing, it's strange.
It's interesting.
And even more unusually, Act Age, the series I would have thought being the least likely to succeed, has actually been doing moderately well in sales and has even been rising up the table of contents.
Fair enough. People want new stuff.
Either an increase in popularity or an internal push within Jump. And I can't help but feel the inclusion of these series as well as isekai stuff is reflective of a much bigger change that's taken place within Jump. Last year, Shonen Jump's former editor-in-chief, Yoshihashi Heishi, the man who had been running the magazine since 2011, stepped down and was replaced by Hiroyuki Nakano. And the reason that's a big deal is because the editor-in-chief has final say over practically every important decision in Jump. From what series get published, to what direction those series go in, to even the hotly debated Table of Contents ranking. The Table of Contents, or TOC ranking, is the order in which Shonen Jump titles appear in the magazine. And the reason people tend to refer to it as a ranking is because the popular titles nearly always appear at the top or at the front of the magazine, while less popular titles will appear further down the Table of Contents towards the back of the magazine.
Which
has caused many people, myself included, to see a title's positioning as directly corresponding to their performance in the reader surveys and thus popularity within the magazine. And I'm correcting myself on this one, this is incorrect. Ultimately, it's actually the editor-in-chief who decides the order of the Table of Contents, as stated by Oda as well as other manga authors in various interviews. However, that is not to say that the reader surveys don't affect Jump's title's positioning. As spoken about by ex-chief editor Jump Nobuhiko Hirai in a 2017 interview, where he spoke about how the reader survey polls can decide the fate of a series in as early as 3 chapters.
Of course it can.
And this makes sense, as once a series starts in Jump, it's going to be at least a few months before it gets collected into a tankobon and goes on sale. meaning that Jump is left with zero sales data to indicate how well a new series is being received by the audience, so all they would have to go on are the reader surveys. Which is why you can see unpopular titles quickly fall to the back of the magazine and suffer cancellation even before they've ever gone on sale.
Oh, right, so
like
before they've even gone into the shops,
last year. Nobuhiko uses an example of Kenichiro Umisora Koko Yakibun Yamashita Torakun, a series that faced cancellation in its first 10 weeks due to extremely poor reader survey scores, but then rose in popularity after that. And what's interesting is that if we map out the table of content positioning compared to that statement, we can see it sit near the bottom of the table of contents for its first 10 chapters, and then seeing it rise in popularity before it settles around the middle of the table of contents. And you can see similar correlations with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and Dragon Ball, both of which rose in popularity after a change in direction, which was also echoed in their rising position in the table of contents. Now that said, the TOC ranking isn't bulletproof by any means. Take a series like Nisekoi, a popular title with high sales, but often languished near the middle or back of the magazine. But a possible explanation of this was given in an interview with the Dragon Ball author Akira Toriyama, in which, referring to the Jump reader surveys, he stated, "Adults don't generally fill in those questionnaires and send them in, right? So I think it's a bit disadvantageous for those cartoonists who draw stories aimed at adults. After all, there are cases where the votes don't come in at all, yet the comics, i.e. Tankobon, still sell." Which explains why a series like Nisekoi could find itself low down on the table of contents, while still being a popular series. So ultimately, what it seems like the TOC rankings are is some combination of sales figures, reader survey results, and the whims of the Shonen Jump editorial department, as well as other factors like if a series has a promotion for, say, an anime or a film.
A movie coming out,
So, in other words, it's difficult to really glean much info from a single issue of Jump's rankings. There's too many variables for a single table of contents to really mean much of anything. But mapped out over time, it can give us a very general indication of a title's popularity and place within Jump, albeit with some exceptions. And so with that in mind, I'd once again like to count down the top 10 series in Jump according to 2017's yearly average table of contents rank, and see where that leads us. But I would like to stress again that these numbers are not definitive, and the conclusions I draw from them are just my own speculation. A few rules here: I'm only going to be including series that ran for more than half a year, and not series that are ongoing but on hiatus. So no Hunter x Hunter, World Trigger, or Boruto. At number 10, falling 4 whole places from last year, is Hinomaru Zumo. But with an upcoming anime adaptation, things may look up for the sumo-focused sports title. At number 9, we 6 newcomers from last year in We Never Learn, which is doing pretty well both in sales and in rank for a romantic comedy manga. At number 8, tying its position from last year, is the fan service heavy Food Wars. At number 7, falling 2 places from last year, is the ongoing Beautiful Boys Doing Things Well volleyball manga Haikyuu. At number 6, rising a phenomenal 5 places from last year, is 2016's Kimetsu no Yaiba, a story about a young demon hunter trying to protect his sister, who tragically is slowly becoming a demon. And while I haven't dived into this series as much as I'd like, its explosion in popularity has me curious. Brand new at number 5, the success story of the 6 rookies, it's Dr. Stone. At a consistent number 4 position from last year is the competent if unoriginal Black Clover. And at number 3 is a series gaining massive popularity in Japan right now, Promised Neverland. And at number 2, replacing the concluded Assassination Classroom from 2016, is Jump's latest world-smashing hit, My Hero Academia, and I'm sure no one watching this video needs me to tell them what that is. And at number 1, the reigning immovable god king of shonen media, it is of course One Piece.
It's always there.
Business as usual, right? Well, kind of. But it was when I compared those numbers with the TOC averages of the first half of 2018, I noticed something unusual. Things seem fairly standard from position 10 to 8, with Food Wars, Gintama, and Haikyuu all standing solid. But then, at number 7, bafflingly, sits My Hero Academia, having been beat out by We Never Learn at number 6 and Black Clover at number 5. Hero Academia's sales have held strong throughout 2018, and its well-received third anime season has arguably left it more popular than ever.
It's so good.
And even when I put out the call on Twitter, the overwhelming majority seemed happy with where the manga was at, albeit with some slight blowback from the recent developments with Endeavor's character.
I've not
So
read
it's
the manga.
unusual
Don't
to see
spoil
it
anything,
languish
please.
around the middle of the magazine after 2 straight years in the top 3. And that may have something to do with the fact that Academia is less popular in Japan than it is in the West.
Oh.
Or maybe this is part of Nakano's new direction for Jump. But for now, we're just going to have to put it down as one of those
Don't ruin
works.
it, man. Aha!
Oh, kill me.
Brilliant.
The TOC data. Coming in at number 4 is the ever-growing Kimetsu no Yaiba, and as we enter the sacred ground of Shonen Jump's top 3 slots, we get Dr. Stone, The Promised Neverland, and of course, Full Drive, the smash hit new table tennis manga from Genkai. It's One Piece.
Yeah.
It's
I was going to say, stop screwing around.
What
Need to
really
check those
strikes
two out,
me
then.
about this list is that if you break
Promised
down
Neverland
the
and
top
Dr.
6
Stone.
titles, 5 of those series are less than 2 years old. And this could mean a lot of things. It could mean that the new titles are actually rising in popularity, or it could mean that Shonen Jump is just keen to push these new series.
Probably
and
wants to
either
get new
way,
stuff out.
This is really unusual, as so often Jump's opening pages are dominated with long-running shonen titles, as we saw repeatedly throughout the 80s and in the era of the Big Three. But now it feels like new blood is flowing into the magazine and those titles are getting pushed to the forefront of Jump.
That is.
And I think that's a good thing. I think that's something
Give us
the
new
genre
stuff.
has really needed for a while now. The first video I ever posted on this channel was one that argued that Hunter x Hunter redefined a lot of the rules of
Never
shonen
watched
manga,
Hunter x
and in
Hunter.
doing so eclipsed nearly every
I need
one
to.
of them. The video ends with me saying how I hope that this new direction would inspire the next generation of shonen storytelling. And while I think the shonen industry has been doing well, at least on paper, with Shonen Jump circulation being down but its online subscriptions being way up, I've also been disappointed with the level of stories that have come out since then, and that's not even a statement on the quality
They can
of
be
these
quite
stories.
linear.
I think series like Hero Academia are well told and illustrated, but my problem comes from the unrelenting feeling that over the last 3 years, mainstream shonen titles have been content to recycle the same basic battle-centric formula and story structures that the genre has been leaning on for years.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And in doing so, have failed to evolve shonen the same way that Hunter x Hunter did, and if you're up to date with that manga, continues to do so.
Fair enough.
But that's also why I get excited when I look at this list and see so
New
many
stuff.
new and original
That's
titles
cool, yeah.
so close to the top. These are titles that are taking the core themes of battle manga, those of conflict and growth, and doing things with them I've genuinely never seen before. And so, to conclude this video, I want to shine a light on 2 of these series and convey to you why I think they represent a bright future for shonen.
Okay.
The first of which, bowing only to One Piece at Jump's current number 2 slot, is The Promised Neverland.
Promised Neverland, right,
The
okay.
opening moments of The Promised Neverland are filled with intrigue. Who are these orphans? What exactly are they being raised for? What lies beyond the large walls that surround their home?
Right.
And who is Mama, the mysterious woman who has raised them all since birth?
Oh wow.
And
okay.
is she
Sounds
really
weird.
as kind and loving as she seems? Or is there something more sinister
Probably
afoot
something
here?
going on there.
The answer being yes, of course
There we
there
go.
is. We wouldn't be talking about it
Yeah.
if there weren't.
That's great.
But to discuss it any further, I need to cover some mild early spoilers, so skip to the time shown on screen now if you want to avoid, because spoilers incoming in 3, 2,
don't mind.
1. The children learn that they are actually being raised as livestock for a gargantuan demon race that have enslaved humanity.
Whoa.
And so the children enter a psychological war of espionage and mind games with Mama, trying to learn everything about her, the orphanage, and the demons who run it, and how to escape before the date of their fated graduation.
Oh, that's cool.
What I think is so cool about this series is that it's taking the theme of conflict that so many shonen are based around and skews it so far in the favor of the antagonists, first pitting mere children against the hulking, imposing figures of Mama and Crone, and later the actual demons that have enslaved them.
Oh, cool.
Meaning that direct physical conflict just isn't an option, leaving only strategy, misdirection, and espionage, leading to a completely different kind of battle scenario than we're used to. And I say this as someone who doesn't even have that much personal affection for the series. I love the premise and plot, but I also think the character writing is a little flat, and the artwork tends to ping-pong between gosh dang incredible and, well, not.
Oh.
But even then, I feel good talking about this series because I have never seen anything else in Jump like this. And with an anime coming next January, there's no telling how far this one may go.
That'll be worth seeing.
The second and final series I want to talk about today is the breakout hit from last year's 6 rookies, Dr. Stone. The first 12 or so chapters of Dr. Stone are okay. The premise is interesting, with every person on Earth being turned to stone, jump forward 3,500 years, and slowly people are starting to break free, one of whom is our protagonist Taiju, who, alongside his scientist best friend Senku, must carefully choose who to unpetrify in order to restart humanity once again. It's a cool setup, but it had issues. While it introduced a great villain, Taiju wasn't that interesting a protagonist, and neither was the quasi-love story with him and Yuzahara. But that all changes in Chapter 12, when the entire story of Dr. Stone goes through a kind of reset, shifting the role of protagonist from Taiju to Senku, and introducing an entirely new and far more engaging plot structure, along with a far more likeable cast of supporting characters. Now alone, it's up to Senku to restart civilization. He wants to use science to restore humanity to a place where everyone can survive and everyone is equal, while Tsukasa, the vicious, murderous antagonist of the series, wants to build a new world, where only the strongest and purest in his eyes can exist, a world completely devoid of science, where the weak must be crushed from existence.
That's cool.
And so, to be able to stand a chance against the army of Adonis-like super beings, Senku has to advance technology as fast as he can, meaning that the power escalation you normally see in Shonen series is carried out through scientific advancements.
Right, that's cool.
So in other words, there's no Super Saiyan moments for these characters. Instead, there's the discovery of electricity or the reinvention of antibiotics.
Cool.
And it's fascinating watching Senku crawl up the technology tree, and as he does, slowly grow his influence.
Cool.
The second major arc of the series centers around Senku trying to win over a village of 40 people, in which he has to use scientific advancements such as iron, modern cooking, and medicine to appeal to individual members of the community.
That's cool. I like that. I like that idea a lot. That's so cool. It's like starting again and using like what we take for granted as a big advantage.
And it creates this really original and incredible feeling of power escalation and progress.
Right.
That's completely different to any battle manga I've ever read. Like Civilization is actually marching forward and doing so in the face of this horrific ludistic ideal of what it means to be human.
That's cool.
It's written by Richiro Anagaki, the same guy who did one of the best and most underrated shonens in My Shield 21, and with art by Bochi, easily one of the best artists in the industry right now, and if you don't believe me, just go check out a few pages of Sunken Rock. And honestly, I'm just kind of in love with this series. I can't wait to see where it goes in the coming months, or what
I really want to read this. Or an anime adaptation. Oh, I'll wait for it.
Yeah, this is me tipping Dr. Stone to be the next big thing in Shonen. And that's really exciting to me.
New
I
stuff.
feel like since the first time I started this channel, there's finally shonen that are taking the core of what makes these stories great and expressing them in new and original ways.
Yeah, that's class.
I don't believe that there is ever going to be a series that surpasses One Piece in terms of sheer success, at least not in its lifetime. But I would also love to be wrong about that. And series like Neverland and Dr. Stone make me believe that maybe, just maybe,
could happen.
That there's a series out there that could one day do that. That Shonen Jump as a magazine and Shonen as a form of storytelling still have a lot more to give.
Definitely.
Hey, thank you for watching my video. I really hope you had a good time. A huge thank you to Rugia for helping me work on this video. They have a really cool manga blog that I'm going to link in the description, and I'd recommend. It's a really great way to find new series. A massive, massive thank you to my beautiful internet ghosts over on Patreon for basically putting food on my table and electricity in my computer that I need to make these videos happen.
That's cool.
And if you would like to contribute your electricity in the form of $1, you can do so over at patreon.com/Super Eyepatch Wolf.
You got a lot of Patreons,
personal thank you this week to Stickass, Galactic Commander,
cool name,
or Tad Pinkston, Fastidious Fish, Emma Bowers, Camel Traffic, and Casual Anime Watcher.
That's a cool name.
If somehow you have not heard enough of me after this video, come hang out on the Let's Fight a Boss video game podcast or on Twitter at Eyepatch.
That's Twitter.
Friends, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.
That was really cool. I'm really intrigued by these things now. I like the list because it's different. As soon as I seen that My Hero Academia is like not even in the top 5, it's like, what? We got a lot of new stuff coming, and I like it. Like, goddamn, that Dr. Stone, that looks really, really cool. Really intrigued, and obviously One Piece is just, you know, is there. It's gonna be there a little bit longer because apparently the author has hinted at it ending at some time. Giving room for new potentially good to know one. But cool, so I really like that. What did you guys think of that? What did you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave comments down below, let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos, and I'll see you guys, yes, all of you guys, next time.